This video shows how to make a field trial design shapefile using FarmTest online trial design tool. First, navigate to farmtest.ag, press sign in, and if you have an account already, you can log in by putting in your email address and your password and pressing login. When your account opens, press create trial. It brings you to a flow that walks you through all the steps we need in order to design a field trial. So first we need the business name and a field name. If you use farm names, that's also an optional input that you can enter. Next, we need the trial boundary. In almost all situations, this is going to be the same as the field boundary. So you have to accept the FarmTest terms and privacy policy in order to upload your own data. If you don't want to do that, you can always use our demo field trial files in order to just get started and see what it's like. Okay, I'm going to pick files to upload. We also offer where the trial boundary can be different from the field boundary. This happens sometimes when the grower wants to put the trial in a small part of the field, but they want a prescription for the entire field. The next thing we need is a way to line up the plots. And so the most common way is to use an AB line. So I'm going to use that, and I'm going to pick one. If you don't have an AB line, you can also enter a heading, or FarmTest can make an initial guess. And in any case, you go to the next page and you can either rotate or translate the AB line to get it just the way you want it. Now we're going to categorize the trial. And so for this example, we're going to do a fungicide trial. So we put in the trial type and the subtype, type in the product name, and then the equipment we'll use for the trial. Next, we need to put in the treatment rates and the units. And so the application rate units are the first thing. So for fungicide, it's going to be gallons per acre. The rates are going to be 0 and 10 gallons per acre. And I also need to have a nominal rate, so the rate outside the test plots. In this case with our fungicide, we want to apply the fungicide outside the test plot, so it's going to be 10. Next we go and we're going to work on defining the test areas. And so first of all, you can pick if you want it to be a plot trial or a strip trial. Most of the time we're doing plot trials, but we also support strip trials. Next thing is, most of the time we want the plots centered on the AB lines, but occasionally someone will say they want to have the AB line lined up to the edge of a plot, and so that's also supported. Then we put in the plot width, the plot length, and the trial buffer width. The trial buffer width is typically around 100 feet, and usually it is either a multiple of the plot width or a multiple of the applicator width. In this screen, we set two important parameters and generate potential trial layouts. The top input determines how small the plots can get. The bottom one determines how many plots there can be. In the top input, 100% corresponds to only accepting plots with the exact width and length set on the previous screen. 50% corresponds to accepting plots as small as half that area, and so on. Usually starting with something like 75% works well. The bottom input sets what percent of the field must be under nominal management. The rest of the field can be test plots under different management. So 100% means no test plots. A lower number means more test plots. We will start with it at 90%. So we're going to go hit preview, and it's going to do a geospatial calculation to figure out where to place the plots. It also generates an estimate of the least significant difference that this trial will produce. This is your error bar on your measurement, and so if you are doing 200 bushel per acre corn on this field, this would say that you're going to be able to confidently detect a yield difference of about 7% or 14 to 15 bushels per acre. If that's not precise enough for you, then you need to come in and change. And so we can come in here. We basically need to increase the number of replicates, and so we need to have less of the field under nominal treatment. So let's go from 90% to 70%. Then we'll hit preview again. When I decrease the nominal treatment area to 70%, the number of replicates increases, and you see that the LSD has dropped significantly. So now I can detect something like 8 bushels per acre on this field. So now if we're happy with our trial design, we can purchase the shapefile, we can download a summary of it, a PDF, or we can save the trial to purchase it later. Let's just start with saving it. That just loads it in our account so we can find it later. If I go back into my account, on the home page, I'm going to see instead of just the create trial button, I have this field where I've created a trial. If I click through here, I'm going to have the option to purchase the trial or to download this plan summary. So I'm going to download this summary, save it to my desktop. Now I'm going to navigate to that summary. So here it is. First, there's a picture of the trial. There's also a breakdown that says for each of the treatments, how many acres of the field are under each of those treatments. And finally, there is a total applied amount of product that's needed to do the trial. Finally, let's purchase the shapefile and take a look at it. I'm going to buy one trial. This brings me to Stripe, so I can enter in an email address, a credit card, and I can pay for this trial. After you purchase the shapefile, instead of a purchase button, you'll see a download link. If I click the link, it'll open up a window that will let me decide where to save the file. It saves it as a zip file. And if I navigate to that zip file and uncompress it, there's all my shapefile components. There's also the planning summary. And now I can go view or manipulate in whatever tool for shapefiles I like. One we like is Map Shaper. So I can come here, take these components, and there you see we have our shapefile. If I go to Inspect Features, you can see that for each of those polygons, there's a target rate, and it goes between 0 and 10, just like we wanted. So that's how you create a shapefile of a field trial design using FarmTest software. You can try this out yourself for free by going to farmtest.ag and pressing the Try FarmTest button. If you have any questions, please ask us at info@farmtest.ag. Thank you.